Hey guys, Hamsterwheel here with a new video, and today, due to popular request, I'm going to share with you my thoughts so far on the Hellground Burning Crusade private server. So where am I right now? Well, I'm only level 30, so I still have a long way to go, but I've already written down a bunch of things I want to share with you. So let's start off with the launch of the server. Now, just like any other private server, I didn't expect this to go flawlessly, as there's always going to be a few hiccups at the very least, and due to the surprising amount of popularity for the server, I expected a few server crashes here and there. So all in all, the launch wasn't too bad. Me and Orbit teamed up, and we unfortunately had to wait in the queue for a bit, but again, due to the many people wanting to play here, this didn't surprise me. Once we got in, we were greeted by a sight that reminded us of Elysium. In other words, tons of people crawling around in every starting area. At first it seems like there was a weird bug with the resistance of mobs. My fireball, for instance, should hit for around 15 to 20 damage, but with some mobs they resisted almost all of the fire damage I was dishing out, and these mobs were either my own level or just 1 or 2 levels higher. Very odd indeed. Luckily now this seems to be a thing of the past, so I'm glad to see that they addressed and fixed this very quickly. Speaking of bugs, there are unfortunately quite a few. Many people have pointed out that this is terrible, considering Hellground has been around for years, and I don't exactly disagree with those people. However, most of the bugs I encountered were annoying, but not game breaking. Things like wonky pathfinding of mobs, mobs attacking you right away when they spawn when they should have a 2 to 3 seconds window of just standing there, some mobs that were stuck in the ceiling, and more. But, like I said, I don't exactly call these total game breakers, and the developers of Hellground are constantly fixing bugs, so it may not be a very smooth experience now, but the fact that the team of Hellground is working hard all the time to improve the stability means that there is hope. Another thing I'd like to bring up is that the default leveling rate is set to 2 times, but you can set this to 1 times if you prefer this. I personally keep it on 2 times leveling rate, as 1 times is just a bit too time consuming for me if I ever want to get to level 70. This 2 times leveling rate does mean that there's a good to fair chance you won't be able to buy all your spells while leveling, as you won't make enough money from quests and items. What about the auction house then? Well, some things fetch a decent sum of money, like wool cloth, but most items are so deflated in price because of the much higher supply than demand, that the profit margin for most of these items are minimal. Because of all this, you're probably not going to be able to buy all of your spells and of course, buy your mount at level 30. So, if you want to stick to the 2 times XP rate, just keep that in mind and try to only train your key spells, like Frostbolt and Fire Blast as a mage. So what about the population? I mean, it was crazy at launch, but what about now? Well, right now there's almost always a queue and the server is capped at 4,000 players as of right now. So the world feels alive at almost any hour of the day, which is just amazing. I think the 10k population on Elysium is, in my humble opinion, a little too much, as it became frustrating and very time consuming to do quests, and here I think they've nailed it. You still see people everywhere, but you don't have to constantly stand in one place and camp 1 or 2 mobs just to be able to level up, so yeah, in terms of population I think 4k is kind of where you want to be as a server. And by the way, while playing there's barely any lag whatsoever. I did experience the occasional lag spike, but these are definitely the exception. Now, due to the popularity of Hellground, the queues can be quite massive, especially during the evening and in the weekend. Queue times can sometimes go up to 1.5 hours, so that's another thing to keep in mind. Last thing I will say about the population is that there is an imbalance between Horde to Alliance. As for every 10 Horde, there's about 6 Alliance, which is a bit problematic if you're Alliance, as the chance of contested zones and neutral quest hubs crawling with Horde, ready to gank you, is higher than if you were playing Horde. Of course, this does mean that at high level, getting into a BG should be way easier, as the Horde will constantly be waiting for Alliance players to join instead of vice versa. So what about the quests? Well, with level 30 and 2 times leveling rate, I already did a fair bunch of them, and even the non-generic killing quests seem to work fine here. There are a few wonky quests here and there, like the NPC that you have to escort in Razorfang Crawl is dying and disappearing. Luckily he was outside, so you could just hand in the quest right there, and some mobs being invisible on my screen, but not on someone else's. This meant that sometimes I was in a party with other people, and a quest was completed without me even knowing someone killed a mob, as I could not see them. Once again, kind of annoying, but not exactly game breaking, and weird stuff like that is definitely the exception rather than the norm. The last thing I want to talk about is that apparently the server is under DDoS attacks, which was noticeable in the last few days, as she got disconnected and couldn't log back in. I don't really know exactly how bad it is and what's happening behind the scenes, but some rumors are going around that they are being DDoSed because they banned too many Chinese people. People that were obviously botting, selling gold, and whatnot. Again, I don't have any proof of this, and this is just what I heard from other people within the community. It's unfortunate that they're getting DDoSed because it does make the overall experience a bit less streamlined, but I kinda saw this coming, as they are now, in terms of popularity, the go-to Burning Crusade server. Right, in a nutshell, do I like their server so far? Well, yeah. It has tons of people playing and every zone feels alive, which totally puts the massive in MMORPG. Apart from the DDoS attacks, the server is quite stable, and like I said, there's definitely the odd bug or two, but none of them are deal breakers. I'll definitely be playing here some more with my buddies Orkbit, Dungeon J, Riga, and a few others, and I'll probably make another update video on how things have been going here on Hellground a bit later on. As of right now though, I want to thank you for watching this video. I'm Hamsterwheel and have a good one.